Hi, and welcome to A View from the Bed. This is a CHI St. Vincent podcast where we talk to real patients about their healthcare perspective. We know that your healthcare journey can be scary, so that's why we want to get their view on the good, the bad, and the ugly from diagnosis to recovery. Enjoy today's episode. Thank you for joining us for today's podcast episode. We are here talking to Jonnie, who had a total knee replacement. So tell me a little bit about before you had the surgery.
On my knee.
On your knee. Okay. What?
I've had a lot of other surgeries.
A lot of other ones. It's like, let's narrow this down. Yeah. So what was your life getting like to the point that you knew I've got to do something?
Oh, it interfered with everything I tried to do.
Really?
You know, your daily activities, everything. Standing up, sitting down, being in bed. It was just, it had reached that kind of where it was that apex pain all the time.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a better time. And of course, Pat said, John, you need to go see Lawrence Dodd. And we need to really consider this.
Yeah.
And Lawrence had been telling me that for a long time.
Yeah.
But he never pushed.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I always think, well, I can stand this.
Yeah.
It's okay. I can deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just reaches a point where you find you're stopping a lot of your activities.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I thought, this is not good.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just kind of let Dr. Dodd tell me what needed to be done, and this is what we're going to do. This is the usual thing you can expect.
Okay.
And he said everything about what could happen, and one of the things I balked at was all that whole week of cleansing and this and that.
Oh,
and
before?
They're just rabid about that. And you have to go through a class to learn how to do that. And I think, I'm a clean person. I take a bath every day.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But they were insanely careful about it.
Yeah, because you got to wash with the antibacterial soap.
Oh, yes.
And before the surgery.
They have a book.
It's a handbook.
Yeah. That they take you home with all this material, and you talk to maybe 2 or at least 3 people.
Oh, wow.
So you go through this kind of portals, and each time, and they each have something they talk to you about.
Okay.
And get information about you, and so I think they're trying not to omit it. And what Dr. Dodd said was that all of that is important because he said the surgery is not what people worry about. It's it's infections after the surgery.
Okay.
So I just followed what they said to do. Check the book. Did I do this? Did I do that?
Yeah.
Did I do this? And everything turned out perfect.
That's phenomenal because, part of it too that they talk to you about a lot of times is blood thinners. They're always like, are you on blood thinners?
Oh,
especially with a total knee replacement. They want to make sure that you're stopping those appropriately.
Right. I take Aleve.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think anything else I took he was worried about. But he said, you've got to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, he went through a lot of things.
Yeah.
He was very thorough, and I would guess that all of the orthopods are with that type surgery.
Yeah.
And now when I had my back surgery, it was like you.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a sudden event.
Yes.
So they didn't have that luxury of time.
Yes.
And I don't know if they worry about that type surgery in the same way they do these joints, hips, and probably elbows. And I do know that shoulders are much more complicated, apparently, especially in the recovery.
Yes.
And so despite how awful it was having to go through rehab, it was very necessary.
Yeah, it is very necessary.
Everything they tell you to do, trust me, it's necessary.
Make sure and follow it when they tell you.
Because they're not doing it for their health.
Yeah.
They're doing it for your health.
So when you woke up from surgery, how quickly was it from that time to when you went home to when you started rehab? Okay, so you woke up and they're like, okay, time to go home.
I went home.
And then when did you start doing like physical therapy?
The next day.
The next day. So were you
I
able
didn't
to
like
put
it.
pressure on it when you went home? Or were they like, you know,
the
use
first
a wheelchair?
day
Or?
When I went to physical therapy, someone talked to me, told me pretty much what they anticipated they would do, how it would move along, more informational purposes.
Sure.
It sounded great.
You're like, good, let's get started.
Until I started the therapy. And then it was necessary, but it was not easy.
Not easy. Yeah. Yeah. What was the hardest part about therapy?
Getting my knee to go
to bend
to a 90 degree.
Oh my goodness. How far would it go at all? Did it want to do anything?
Oh, no.
No? This was kind of stuck?
At first you say, never touch my knee again. I'm just going to walk like this.
For forever.
Forever and ever. And, but as you do their therapies, it becomes a little easier, easier. And of course you go home and you get up, you go to the bathroom, you want to take a shower as soon as they say you can. You want to do all these things, and you start going outside again and sitting on the porch, and it's too much fuss to take a wheelchair.
Oh,
that was out pretty quickly because it's just, most homes aren't built to accommodate a wheelchair, and so that went, but a walker worked really well.
Oh, good.
And the walker was the best help because the walker, I guess, got me up.
Yes.
And it keeps your upper body strength strong, but it also moves your knee.
That's good. And they're stable. They're stable.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're having some issues.
As soon as I could, Pat said, try the walker.
Yeah.
And absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And you're so much more able to do daily activities.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Start to feel a little bit more normal again.
Oh, yeah. You can get up to a counter. You can go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You can get in and out of the bathroom door. You know how they make most bathroom doors a little
they're small.
bit smaller.
I know.
Right? And everyone's home is different, too.
Yes.
Most of the appliances that your physician tells you, the people who do the physical therapy are really helpful in that regard.
Oh, good.
And my husband was too. Nevertheless, you feel like you're getting stronger on a walker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you have to hold yourself up.
You have to get up, you have to get down. And of course, the funny thing is, it sounds childish, but when you don't need help to stand up anymore, and you can do it on your own, it's like,
hey, you graduated.
Exactly.
You graduated.
It's kind of how, I guess, the first time someone stands up on their own when they're a toddler, you feel like, whoa, this is a new world.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but that's how, to me, it felt like, because I had begun to think, I wouldn't want to be this. Yes. I have such sympathy for people who require appliances for their daily activities.
Yeah.
And that's not going to stop.
Yeah. At least you had a light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, yes. And I was making progress to change. And once it started, it was very rapid.
Good. Okay.
It seems to me, I think it was, my memory is a little fuzzy, but I think it was either 4 or 6 week program.
Okay.
And believe me, they keep you on schedule.
Sure.
And about 2 weeks into it, I would say things got much easier.
Much easier.
Much easier.
Yeah.
And except for that bend in the knee thing.
That took a little longer.
That was tougher. And in any case, you feel better because you make progress because it's all planned out. It's all, you hate it when it's happening.
Yeah.
But if you can just see your way through to get it all done the way they want it done, there's a purpose there.
Yeah.
And their purpose is to make you normal again, or as close to normal as you can be, depending on what therapy you're getting.
Sure.
And there were a lot of other people in there when I was there. My particular choice was to go to the group that was right down the hall from Dr. Dodd's office.
Oh, yeah.
But there are a lot of physical therapists that they also had on their list of recommendations.
So that way, if it's closer to your house, you know, you can choose the one that's easiest for you.
Right. There are a lot of people. And you know, in our town, we have a lot of people who drive some distances. And they may want to go to a physical therapist in their town.
Yeah.
So this little booklet
that's nice.
is helpful.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I would bet that they all do pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure
post-surgically.
Yeah.
And in any case, they have it down to the minutia.
Day
to day. Today's your progress to here. Today's your progress to there. And they keep you going.
On track.
It'd be easy not to do it.
Based on how you're feeling. Well, you know, you did bring up a good point earlier, because knowing that you have a walker, you know, that will go home with you to help assist you, it's, you know, that's something you could think about if you're faced with a knee surgery or a knee replacement. That you can go ahead and start looking around your house and saying, what can I get help to, like, move some things around?
Definitely move furniture,
Yeah, so that way your walker has an easy access, you know, and then you're not worrying about that after the fact. So that's a really good point.
It was, Pat did that. He said, now, John, we're going to, we'll switch bedrooms because this one's closer to the bathroom, and the bathroom door is bigger over here than in our bedroom. And he said, you know, it'll work out.
Yeah.
And there was a smaller area that was carpeted.
Okay.
And then the rest of it is hardwood. Which is a lot easier.
For that walker to glide past.
I was the one that had the tennis balls.
Oh, yeah, the tennis balls.
You know, and I kept thinking, why do they have those tennis balls on?
Yes.
Well, now I know why.
Now you know why.
It makes a big difference.
Makes a big difference. I had a nurse in the hospital one time tell me that she found these cool things on Amazon. So if you're going to have to use a walker, think about this. But go on Amazon and search for walker glider feet. And they're these little caps that you pop on the bottoms of the walker. And they just glide like butter. So you're not having to cut tennis balls and find them. And I think they were all $5, like $5 investment if you're a walker user or you're going to have to use a walker. And, you know, I think I got them in 2 days or something, you know, whatever Amazon said I could get them. But I put those bad boys on my mom's walker, and on days she needs it. And boy, she just scoots on all different kinds of surfaces, and from some area rugs to hardwoods or ceramic.
So they work on rugs too.
They do.
See, the tennis balls aren't as good.
Oh my! And I would never have known, except this nurse at the hospital told me, "Hey, go look into that. It's over $5."
Yeah. And boom, there they are.
That was a nice
Plus,
bundle.
like you say, they're easy to pop on.
Easy to pop on. You literally just like lay your walker down, slap them on, and then they're on there. And so yeah, if you have to have knee replacement or anything that requires a walker, you know, check it out on Amazon. It was walker glider feet, and they'll pop right up, and they come in different colors. And
I would bet they stay a lot cleaner.
They do.
Since I used to I took mine out on the porch. You know, there are leaves and debris that blow up constantly.
Oh yeah.
They would get soiled.
Oh yes.
On the bottom.
Uh-huh.
And then that was another job, Pat had
cut
to
the tennis balls.
Yeah, well, yeah, cleaning them. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's an issue, there's some bright person usually who's worked on it and tried to figure it out. The key is to try and find like the things that popped on the bottom.
Oh, yeah. And that nurse just happened to mention it to me. And she wasn't even my mom's nurse or anything. She just saw us walking down the hall at the hospital, my mom with her little walker, and she's like, hey, you might benefit from this. Check this out. And I was like, oh, this is wonderful.
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, she's had that experience probably 100-fold, seeing people struggle with tennis balls.
People struggle with tennis balls. And, but, that's a good point, is just be aware of your surroundings before your surgery. So that's one less thing you have to worry about.
I wouldn't even have anticipated that as an issue, though. I just wouldn't. I didn't think I would, in the beginning, I didn't think I would need 6 weeks of physical therapy. I really didn't. I thought I've always been somebody who can overcome and ignore discomfort and pop up. Not this time.
Yeah.
And Pat was very careful. And Dr. Dodd was, when I'd go back in. He said, well, you got to do what you're told to do.
Yeah.
And he said it will help you in the end.
Yeah.
And you have to keep thinking, it's going to help me in the end. Because, it would be real easy not to. If people knew a little bit more what to expect.
Yes.
It's not the same for everybody. That's
it's
for
not.
sure.
It's
so
not
what
the
happens to me or you is going to be probably a lot different.
A lot different. And attitude makes a huge difference in recovery. It's okay, this is hard right now, but I've got to get up. I've got to do my walking or my stretching or, whatever your regiment has to be to recover. And how you approach that is very different based on the attitude you have when you do it. And, there's a lot of study, doctors say, that have been done around people that expect positive outcomes tend to get more favorable outcomes post-surgery because their attitude
I
is
always
so
expect to have a good outcome.
Yeah.
I just assume, well, this is what they say is going to work. Okay, let's go.
Well, have you found that true with your knee?
Oh, yeah. I have to say there's some people there that needed a lot more help than I did.
Yeah.
For many, many other reasons, too.
Yes.
And I just thought, oh, my gosh, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
I don't like it,
yes,
but I can do it.
Well, and that's good. And so what are some of the things now that you can bend your knee again? What are the things now that you're doing that you couldn't do before?
Everything.
It's everything?
Yeah. I really don't. I would not do a deep knee bend.
Sure.
But I didn't do many of them in the beginning beforehand. But I honestly, I don't think about my knee at all. Even the scar, it's hardly visible. And it's a big old scar, too.
Yeah.
But it's hardly visible. And so it's been, I don't know, maybe it's been about a year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And but once it started to get better, after the physical therapy, having been one of the major reasons, I'm sure, and the fact that the surgery went so well.
Yes.
Plus, I had a good nurse. Pat makes a good nurse.
Yeah.
And that is very helpful to have somebody in the home to help you in those hard times.
To help you take care of it,
But I will say that each day with this, I felt better than the day before.
That's good. That had to be promising, especially on those hard days.
Yes.
You're like, I know tomorrow I'll feel a little bit better.
A little bit. If I just do this, if I just do what they say.
Yep. It'll be a little bit better.
That's right. And it usually was.
Yeah.
I will say that it just went according to schedule.
Yeah.
And the schedule being whatever the people at physical therapy told me it was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will say that there was one younger therapist who was very enthusiastic. And he said, I can't remember what, I'd never seen him before, and I had not seen him after that. But he said something about, I don't know, let's see how your knee's doing. And they have this, like a big protractor or something,
Oh my goodness.
you know. And anyway, he took my leg and he went, crunch. And I just about came up, you know, the cat hanging on the ceiling.
Oh, man.
And I thought I was going to throw up.
Oh.
I mean, I thought, this is not me, but I thought, oh my gosh, I said, yeah, I think I may throw up.
Oh my goodness.
But it went away real quickly.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, from that moment on, I had progress to that point.
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah.
So I don't know if that was part of the therapy or if that was just something he was becoming he thought I was not making enough progress and he was going to help me along.
Yes.
But,
you know, I have heard, whether it's with a knee or a shoulder, you know, those are two joints I've heard that are more apt to get a little frozen after surgery. So I wonder if, you know, he kind of had to force it a little bit to get it past that frozen stage.
Indeed. I presume it was definitely for a reason. He wouldn't have done it otherwise. Yes. I know that intellectually.
Yes. But in the moment, you're like, I'm not sure what happened here. But
and I just made progress, and by the time I was out, I could pretty much just walk.
Yeah.
And since then, I don't think about it.
That's wonderful.
I will tell you, it has been so life-changing.
Yeah.
Because you just, it's so subtle. You don't realize how you stop doing things.
Yeah, kind of creeps up on you.
Little by little. And you just realize suddenly at the end when you say, oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
It's been this long time of every day making accommodations, negative accommodations.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, you know, like I say, I don't do deep knee bends.
Yeah. Hey,
but
I don't
really
either.
did never before, so it's not a loss. But I will say that I don't think about it.
That's a good
I just
feeling.
don't think about it. My husband and I work in the yard,
Yeah.
and it happened rapidly.
Oh, yeah.
Once it was healed, and once, of course, the therapy ended probably before it was truly healed.
Sure.
I don't know what Dr. Dodd would say about that, but at this point, looking back on it, I couldn't tell you when I just started not thinking about it and doing daily activities the way I used to.
Just kind of became the normal again.
Right. I think that's a real key that most people, I included, you know how you just think, oh, I don't need to go see somebody about this. It'll get better. Well, a lot of times it does get better in a certain way, and that it may not hurt you anymore, but it's not better in the way that you will be as good as you were before you hurt it.
Yes. And I think that's a good point, Jonnie, because not even just with knee replacement, but anytime a physician recommends physical therapy, whether it's after heart surgery or anything, take the physical therapy if you can, because you just come out healthier, stronger, and to your point, in ways that you didn't even think about. You know, because
as a average person with no medical training, I would not have looked inside the reasoning for it.
Oh, yeah.
It would just be, well, it doesn't hurt anymore. I don't need to go.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you more than half the people feel that way.
Yes.
Because getting up in the morning, getting dressed, going to a physical therapist, you know, paying for physical therapy.
Sure. It's a commitment.
It is a commitment.
It is.
And it's one that I think people are busy.
Yes.
Their lives are busy. They're working. They have children.
Yes.
I mean, there were young people in there that had things they were working on.
Oh, sure.
I think people are coming around more, but not probably enough.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just learn to live with the discomfort.
Yes. Or they do workarounds.
Absolutely.
They'll do a workaround.
That's a great.
They'll do a workaround and be like, well, I can still do this. But then when you look at what they could do to what they do now, it's like, well, you're doing it different.
Yes.
And it's not the most healthy. And so I think that's a great point is, it's a financial commitment. It's a time commitment. For a while, you definitely need someone to take you. So, try to find good friends or church folks or, a spouse or a child or whoever, a parent that can help you fulfill that commitment because it is so important.
And it's a commitment of, it takes probably, let's just say 30 minutes to get there from home. 45 minutes or maybe an hour in the therapy. I don't remember even how long it was because it just has blown by so fast. And then getting home. So for them, that's a big commitment.
Yeah, couple hours.
And we don't even have cabs. I guess you could Uber.
You could Uber,
but I don't know how to Uber. So I'm not an Uberer.
Yeah.
But it's just something that, like you said, it's a commitment.
Yeah.
And you have to commit to it because it gets you back to almost where you were before the injury.
Yes.
As opposed to getting you back to, I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the goal. If you're going to go through the surgery and have the scar, you want to be better than okay.
Oh, yes.
You want to be back to where you're doing what you love.
Absolutely.
And enjoy.
Or what you have to do.
What you have to do.
If you're a young mother and you have to stoop down and pick up your child or stoop down and pick up the million toys.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
How many other things. You can think of so many things that people do in their lives.
Oh, yeah.
It's 100%. Just, I can't imagine, especially as a young person, going through life, having to make those accommodations for lack of going through the whole therapy.
Yes.
And feeling like yourself again.
Yeah. And that's amazing. That's
it is. And it doesn't seem when you start that therapy that it's going to help you at all because it hurts.
It hurts.
But I don't, for other people with strains and stuff, I can't speak to that. But there were a lot of kids, I will say a lot, for the little group that I seem to come in group with.
Sure.
There were young people in there that looked like they probably had some sort of injury that happened maybe in a school activity or something like that. Yeah. And then there were some people who looked like they did, they were adults, but it looked like they did maybe activities of running or lifting or something sports-wise that they strained their backs or they strained their arms or their knees or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And the therapy, they were there. And they were there because they knew it was going to not only make them feel better, but it would repair as much as possible. And if it couldn't be repaired that way, then like Dr. Dodd, I'm sure would have told them, you're going to have surgery before this is going to get better.
Yeah.
But these people didn't seem like they had had surgery. They seemed like they were there because they needed to get that strain repaired and get back to business as they were.
Yeah.
And
well, and that's a good camaraderie thing too for therapy is when you're feeling down, go to therapy, get your therapy, and have that camaraderie with others to pep you up, and then go home and start it again the next day.
I don't know if that's camaraderie.
Maybe it's common hate for good, right?
Well, I think what it does is it really, we all feel we want to feel better.
Yeah.
We want to feel good.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to get you there.
That's what
it's tried and true.
Tried and true.
And it's not a con. It's not something that really it shouldn't even be an option.
Yeah.
And it's just something. It's part of the surgery.
Part of the process.
Yeah. The joint surgery required commitment.
Yes.
To getting better.
Yeah.
And I'm there.
Well, and I think it would be safe to say that if you had to go back and make the decision, you would do it again.
Oh, yes.
And maybe a little sooner.
A lot sooner.
A lot sooner.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it was probably worse because I didn't.
Yeah, you waited.
And my husband, he had his hip done.
Uh-huh.
And it's just miraculous to see how it helped him get back. I don't even think about his hip surgery very much anymore unless I see the scar.
Yeah.
And he never mentions it.
Yeah. It's just, he feels so much better.
He does mention his old football injury that he never that he never had repaired.
That probably gives him more problems than the hip.
I'll bet you if you asked him it would.
It probably does.
But as far as my experiences, it's been do what they tell you to do.
Yeah.
Because it's not to their benefit, it's to your benefit.
It's to your benefit. And you heard it from Jonnie. I mean, follow the rules. Go see the doctor when you need to go to the doctor. Do your PT. Wash with the soap. Have a good attitude when you can, even though it hurts, but it's worth it.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, until next time, see you later. Thanks for joining us for today's episode of A View from the Bed, A Patient's Perspective. We hope that you found it helpful. We hope that it helped you make your healthcare decisions. We hope that it made you feel a little more comfortable with your own journey, and we hope that you'll join us next time.